Hello and welcome to Creatives Like Us, where I speak with creatives of colour who share journeys and stories and ideas and how they can inspire and open up avenues in creative industries. I'm your host, graphic designer Angela Lyons, and with the help of my guests, I will bring you insightful interviews and compelling stories that can inspire you to think about things differently or shape your next move. Being a creative of colour can bring its challenges, highs and lows and in-betweens. But this podcast is about amplifying our voices and celebrating together. So, are you ready? Let's get started with Creatives Like Us. Hello and welcome to Creatives Like Us. And my guest today is Yolanda. Yolanda, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Brilliant. Can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yes, so I am Yolanda Sissing. I am the founder of Pinkly Social, which is a social media consultancy for purpose-driven brands who want to rise above the noise and make an impact that's good for people and the planet. My other passion is also as the co-founder of the Antisocial Socialites, which is a networking community for people who hate traditional forms of networking. So it's a growing global community where we have people who come on board and learn new strategies to embrace different styles of networking that suits them.
How did you actually come to be where you are now? You don't have to give me a full breakdown, but if there's like something that like the catalyst change that made you go, I'm going to do this right now. So how did
Yes.
you start?
So, I never ever envisioned myself as being a business owner. Like, I come from a family of educators or people who worked in like the medical field. And obviously growing up in South Africa during apartheid, there were very limited routes for people to go into work if you're a person of color. So I was expected to either go into law or do something quite conventional. So just to follow a proper corporate job. And then I worked as a journalist in South Africa for a number of years, came over, did some freelance writing, and then started working full time in the charity sector. And I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with London. I found out all the warts and all details about, where people live, what makes the city tick, and I absolutely loved it. But there was a glass ceiling, particularly for my role, because I managed volunteering programs and I was the only person in the company doing it. It was a continuation of other roles that I had gone through at other organizations. And I was like, I don't know what to do next, really. And I sat in it for a while because I still loved what I was doing. And then we went on a trip to Spain and we got caught up in a terrorist attack. And it was the most scary experience that I've ever endured in my life. I lasted ambulance and we saw the truck going past as the people were being knocked. We were about to cross the street and we had to
Oh
run for our
my
lives.
gosh.
And it was
Oh my God.
so scary. It was frightening. We didn't know how we
I
were going to
think
get
I
back.
remember seeing that on the news. That's massive. Yeah, a few
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah. And our kids were quite small, so it's like I was carrying Max and my husband at the time was running in another direction with my daughter. It was really scary. And we managed to get back home on the Sunday. I went into work on the Monday and I was at my desk busy filling in like a KPI report and Excel spreadsheet. And I just sat there going, what the hell am I doing? Like, this is not
Oh my
what I'm
gosh.
supposed to be doing with my life. I can't be going back to normal. I almost lost my family. And I just thought there and there, I'm going to leave. It was that clear as daylight that that's what I was going to do.
Really?
And
Oh,
so, yeah, so again, I sat on it for a while, chatted to my family, spoke about it to my husband, because obviously financially it's a big decision to leave and start on your own. And so I did. So we both decided, okay, we'll give ourselves a year. And and during that time, I spent a lot of time on social media, as you do. I was reluctant. And my friends call me like the reluctant social media marketer because I was like, I don't like following trends. It's just a natural resistance that
yeah.
I've got to not follow the crowd. But I really started enjoying what I saw on Instagram. I loved connecting with people on LinkedIn. And I started thinking there must be something else what's happening with this system. So I suppose the journalist in me was like starting to pick up on things like why some people are connected to some influences, what is sitting
Yeah.
behind this. And then I found a course which was run by Digital Mums at the time, which is an advanced social media management course. And then completed. Then I thought, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. So picked the name, set up the business, and here we are 6 years later.
It sounds like you do it quite analytical. You were like working out every process. Like even when you said you came to London, I worked out who was in what borough, what were they about, what made them tick, social media, why are they doing that influence, why are they connected to that person. I'm going to work all these things out. Quite analytical.
It's true actually. I'm quite creative, but analytically creative.
Yeah, I because it's funny because I think, as soon as you said that, I thought, "Gosh, that's quite a lot of analytics going on there." So, yeah, that's brilliant. Um, what is the name of your company?
So it's Pink Leaf Social, probably a combination of wanting to channel sort of feminine energy and women's empowerment. And then Leaf, because, in Africa, we've got like an abundance of plant life. And I just align myself to sort of growth and being around nature and feeling quite organic and natural. So that's where the name came
Mhm.
from. So yeah, Pink Leaf Social is what it's called.
That's brilliant. How many years have you been in business now?
So it's 6 years this year, in September 7, which is unbelievable to think about. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's no easy task keeping in business and keeping it going for so many years, so well done.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But I've enjoyed it. I think I made the conscious decision as well to work specifically with sort of heart-led brands and sort of
Mhm.
charity founders who want to make a difference. So I feel even though it's marketing and sometimes I can feel like a dirty word, I think like it's helping to elevate people who are doing really good things around the world. So
Mm.
that feels
Mhm.
good.
That's interesting. Why do you say marketing is a dirty word? Is it so people just think that they're trying to sell all the time, or is it?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. So it's having to kind of reframe. Either people feel too exhausted to do it, or
Mhm.
they put it as like the last thing on their planning because they're focusing obviously on what their business needs to do to be successful. And then I think because there's been a bit of a shift between conventional advertising, paid ads, some campaigns that haven't quite hit the mark, which feel quite performative. It doesn't always get a good rep, but I think if it's done well, it will help
Mhm.
you to kind of build a really strong community of loyal fans
Yeah.
and customers.
It's interesting because so just talk about marketing because, a lot of people think that, as you said, it's the last thing on the list, but if you don't do it, how are you gonna get new business in or tell people what you do? Remember during COVID, just at the beginning of COVID, one of the first departments that went was marketing, and that was just the most craziest thing because you still have to tell people that you were still going.
Definitely something
Yeah,
that
and it
we
doesn't matter what size business you're in. It's just you've got to tell people small if you're a one-man band or one-person band or, a bigger company, you've got to tell people, you've got to keep that marketing going. So you have
exactly,
to keep going on
exactly.
that. Yeah, yeah. So we always come across people in our paths that keep us connected and a catalyst connection. Is there anyone in your life or few people that in your life that have made you go, I'm going to change and I'm going to switch up directions?
I'd probably say the first person that helped me to consider journalism as a career. I remember I was watching the news when Nelson Mandela was released from jail, and the whole world was immersed in watching him, and
Oh, what a
everybody.
moment. Oh, you've made me get
No,
goosebumps
it's
that
true. I
I
just I
remember that.
watched that and I was
Everybody
like,
remembers that moment.
I just thought to myself, I want to be a part of this. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to
Mhm.
spread some good news and I want to be part of that conversation, not on the periphery, like in the heart of what's happening. And I remember speaking to my dad about it, and he was like, "Oh, you sure? How do you know if you'll be good at it?" I was like, "I don't care. I'm going to do it."
Gonna try.
And yeah, and once I made the decision, they were like fully supported me, very happy to be involved. And I think that was the catalyst for me to get into journalism. And I absolutely loved it. I also then had the chance to meet him, which felt quite full circle after a press conference when he was still president at the time. So that was just amazing.
Oh my gosh. Wow, what a moment. That is just like a moment that can never be repeated. Just
Yes.
what was
No,
it like?
he he is everything that you would imagine. When they talk about godlike energy, he had that. He had that aura
Mhm.
about him that just felt very tangible. And I remember just before he walked into the press conference, the room just went quiet. It's almost like you knew something, I don't want to call it spiritual, but it did feel spiritual was happening. He walked in, he did his speech because they were launching some policy, which I can't quite remember, and everybody's asking me questions. And we're not supposed to go up and sort of fangirl with people. But I was like, when am I ever going to have this moment to do this again? Never. And I went up afterwards and, yeah, we're just about to leave and some photographers were taking pictures. And I said, oh, no, I'm supposed to. And he said, oh, the young journalist, nice to meet you. And he took my hand. I was like, nice to meet you too.
My
I was
gosh,
like,
what a moment.
yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. So yeah, so that was quite important. And then I think another catalyst probably has been my mom. She was quite a fearless woman. Like, I just feel like she did things regardless of what people thought or felt, and just she wore what she liked, she did her hair the way that she liked, she married who she liked, she loved the music that she liked, and she's a force to be reckoned with. And I think I've channeled a lot of her energy when it came to making sort of big decisions.
Interesting. That's lovely. Mums are really important, aren't they? Just like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's really nice, really nice. I always say, when people ask for role models, like my mum, because like, she's the one that I always just look up to. Yeah, so yeah. Oh, that's really nice. That's really cool. It's really cool. What about Liz? Because I see Liz as one of your people that catalyst connections. Like, so Liz Hamlet, you want to tell me a little bit like about Liz and what you guys do together?
absolutely. So Liz and I met while we were still working in the corporate world, and then we lost touch with each other, and then reconnected on LinkedIn, and met up
Nice.
for lunch. It must have been lunch or breakfast, I think, just after COVID was finishing. We were both just really frustrated because we hadn't quite found networking opportunities that didn't feel like quite stale. Everybody was so formal. It's just lots of, transactional interactions. And I was like, oh, so we just sat there and thought, should we just do our own thing? And so that's how the antisocial socialites came about. That's what we call ourselves. And so we've been doing sort of monthly LinkedIn audio rooms where we talk about what it, what you can tap into to make networking feel more aligned to who you are as a person. So if you're
Mhm.
somebody who's introverted, or you're neurodivergent, or you're changing careers, or you're someone who might be the last one of the ones that we had this year, which was quite an interesting conversation, but I think still relevant, was about how hormones could even affect the way that you approach networking. This is something that people don't often think about, but it can. Things around
Interesting. Yeah.
confidence and mindset and all of this stuff,
Yeah.
which we've absolutely loved. So we've had, more than 2,000 plus people coming along to our audio rooms on
Wow.
LinkedIn, which has been fantastic.
That's
And
great.
we've had lots of different guests coming along, and we've had some in-person events. But what we wanted to do was not have traditional meet and greets. We wanted something that felt a bit more interactive and quite entertaining, particularly for people who might
Mhm.
not feel comfortable with small talk.
Mhm.
If there's something
Yeah.
to do, or like a common
Yeah.
topic that people can bond over. So that's been amazing. Liz, to her credit, is a force to be reckoned with because, like you said, I can analyze for the hills. I can sit and read all the reports, and I can write all the data. Liz is like, we're doing it tomorrow. She's just amazing. So yeah, we both have got like big ideas and really, really good different ways of approaching business and what we're doing. I think of her with her strategy mindset and her dream big philosophies, and me with my very sort of like analytical processes and stuff. It just seems to be working really well.
Good teamwork together.
Yeah,
It's good to
exactly.
have different qualities. Yeah, totally. Oh, brilliant. I'll put the link in the show notes for your LinkedIn lives too, and where people can find you online and on LinkedIn. Because I think, yeah, as you said, if you don't really like networking, or you don't want to go to any of those, those big ones like BNI and all those kind of networking events, I think yours is just like, even just being online and networking is a force, because I think a lot of
Absolutely.
people, especially, if we're working by ourselves and got our own businesses, meeting other people or just listening to other people, and like if they know there's a space that they can be comfortable with you, that's great.
Yes. And
So yeah,
we've also tried
well
to make
done.
sure that it's not quite non-committal for now, because for some people
Yeah.
also the process of networking can feel quite overwhelming. So, we've got a mailing list, and we've got a quiz out to just help people think about which kind of or style of networker they are. And then we've got some
Mhm.
additional masterclasses that we down on the side if people want to have some more strategic approaches to what it is that they're doing. But yeah, it's been going really, really well, and I'm excited to see what this year brings. We've done, as you know, some in-person
Yeah.
public speaking events, and we've got potential sponsors lined up for the next
Oh,
quarter
that's
of the year.
great.
So that's going to be
Yeah.
really exciting.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant. That's great. And I do like your in-person events, because you do have the last one I went to, it had some games involved. So they were quite
Yes.
really good icebreakers.
Yes.
And I think, as you said, if you're like really nervous about talking to people, you could just play a game of Jenga.
Yeah.
That will
Yeah.
always get you'll always have a laugh by the end of it and just get talking. So yeah,
Exactly.
well done. You
Exactly.
guys are doing great. So keep it up. It's
Thank
brilliant. So
you.
and I like networking. So I like
Yeah,
all types of
it's
networking.
not,
So
it's definitely not an issue for you. You're fine. But what I do like though is that when I've seen you, it's like you're very selective about the networking events that you go along to as well. And I think that shows your energy and sort of the kind of people that you are attracting to yourself. So it's a skill in itself to be able to do that. So I've enjoyed encountering you in the wild, as they say.
thanks. So tell me about Pink Leaf Social. What projects are you working on?
Yeah, so today, I've got 2 client calls. I try to sort of split my week up. So I'm doing client calls and work on Mondays and Tuesdays. I've got what I love also about what I do is that it's clients in different fields, so you don't have to be in a specific industry. So I've got an environmental charity that I'm working, not charity, startup, sorry, that I'm working with. I've got a um, charity organization that supports journalists and press freedom, which is really interesting. I've got an organization that works with sort of mentoring young people out in India, and yeah, just a range of different interesting pieces of work. And then I've also been doing some work with the local charity organization who I think I was telling you about the sort of started up a hub for people of African and Caribbean heritage. And that's been going really, really well. So like helping people to find out and rediscover how stories and histories link to the borough where I live in London. So we've got a book festival coming up on Thursday, which I'm going to go along
Oh,
to.
what's it called? Do you know? Has it got a name yet? That the hub?
Yes, so it's called Very Predictable, but effective when it comes to word searches. The Caribbean and African Collective, Ealing. So it's easy enough for people to find. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes too.
So it's a quite a varied week that I have. So I normally spend the first part sort of catching up with my clients and make sure that any content and strategies and sort of planning is done this side of the week, and then the delivery and the creation and editing and caption writing and stuff is done at the latter part of the week. And then I'll spend Fridays are my off days. So I try and use that as an opportunity to meet up with people because, as you know, others you're working on your own. It's just you on your laptop, which is fine. And then, yeah, exactly. And then dotted in between those, I might have some co-working days or online networking groups that I go along to. So I've got one tomorrow with Lauda Bunton's group called the Super Connector, and I'm just becoming more familiar what's happening within the being freelance community. So I'll be doing some more, showing up some more
Yeah,
there
yeah.
after the
It's nice
holidays.
seeing you in the being freelance.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So yeah, a little bit of that. I mean, I tend to spend my time um, in between things like delivering training. So a lot of my clients are based on LinkedIn. So what I want them to do effectively is feel empowered enough to start running their social media programs, profiles themselves. So we kind of split our time between some training and then some delivery and then some reporting and analytics during that time. But yeah, I love it. I've got one new client potentially that I'm taking on. It's going to be a florist, which I'm quite keen to do some work. It's like, ooh, it's spring. I could do so many things with this.
Pretty.
So yeah, so that's going to be starting next week.
Your clients sound so diverse. Like it's brilliant. I love it. But all around social impact, social change, and it feels like you empower people, make people happy.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the common thread. Yeah, yeah. I think I made the mistake when I first started to take on everybody, and I was like, oh, I don't know if this is quite the
Yeah.
mechanics that I like. So yeah, I've been a bit more intentional about who I work with. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So what's next? Who would you like to work with in the future? Or tell me a dream project. This is your chance to manifest.
Ooh, dream project. I think I would love to, because I kind of realized that I'm definitely into sort of slow moving content. So long form stuff I feel really curious about. So in an ideal world, I would either be working side by side a creative, so someone who is an author or an artist, as in like an artist,
Hmm.
or someone who is really good at uncovering sort of undiscovered places in the world or something like that. And then
Yeah.
documenting. their journey and
Oh, wow.
bringing it to the world so everybody can see what it is that they do and how they do what they're doing. I'm also really, really keen on exploring, um, I think, public speaking, but from a perspective where you're sort of challenging people's perceptions of what success looks like, particularly in things like marketing. And I had a long chat with somebody a few weeks ago at a networking event, actually. And she
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, but what would you talk about? You know, because most people understand social media, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Yeah, you can. It's not necessarily about social media. It's about your approach to social
Mhm.
media." And I think, reading through the headlines and, all these companies that are scaling back on DEI and going against what so many people have worked for, I think probably I'm standing on the side of history where the conversations that I want to have on the stage is to talk about being brave and standing by your principles and your values because you will bring other people with you on that journey.
Mm.
If you are a brand who does work for the greater good, live that, live those values, write those policies, employ those people, train individuals, give back, plow back,
Mhm.
and celebrate that because you will attract people for the longer term, not the ones who are just clicking for clickbait's sake. So that's sort of my dream for what I'd love to do next. And then I've got a book that I'm working on, not necessarily about me. I did a ghostwriting project with
Excellent.
with an author last year, and I absolutely loved it. So I thought um, next year is going to be no, it's this year actually. This year is going to be 5 years. 5 years since my mom passed away, and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to do a recipe
Oh,
book for her of all of her recipes that she's done. Because I'm not very good at
amazing.
cooking, but she was really good at cooking. I've started speaking to all the aunties and uncles and cousins. I'm like, send me the recipes, blah, blah, blah. So my dream is that by the end of this year, I'll have that published and I can circulate it and
Brilliant.
become like a proper family. That's the
That would be
dream.
amazing.
Yeah.
So lots of African dishes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah? Oh,
Exactly. That's the
wow. And
plan.
what an honor to your mum. That's a tribute. That'd be
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Because I think there's something that you realize the older you get. I don't know if it's the same with you, and just life is so fleeting. Like, the kids grow up so quickly, and even the fact now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been 5 years, and there's nothing tangible these days that you can hold on to with your fingers and look at and go, this is a
Yeah.
representation of life. Because everything that we have is like in the cloud or on social media.
Oh my gosh, I'm not even joking, right? Literally, I went for my morning walk this morning, and on my road we have those book huts. I don't know if you've seen them, where
Yes,
people
yes,
drop
yes.
books in. And but this guy actually had a bookshelf, and he's like been covering it up every night. And he's an old guy, and he's lovely. He's really sweet. He always stands outside and says morning to everyone in the morning. And he goes, "Look at this!" And he flipped like a blanket of this bookshelf, and he had hundreds of books there. And he was like, "Do you want a
Wow.
book?" I was like, "I've got loads of books already." And he goes, "I've got photo albums too." And he goes, "No one has photo albums anymore." I'm like, "I don't have a photo album. I've got some, but I don't print out my photos. They're all on my phone." But I said to him, "I'll take the cookbook. I'll take the
Yeah.
cookbook." Because I said, "It's always nice to flick through the cookbook." I literally picked it up this morning, and I said, "Also, my son's going uni. Maybe he'll cook some things from this cookbook."
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So, yeah, so, we had a little chat and a laugh about that, but he was, I don't know how old he is, but he was, he's quite old, and he was saying, "No one looks at books anymore, just all on their phones."
I know. I had a lecture from someone like that. I was walking it was my mistake. I was walking on with my phone in my hand on my way to collect my daughter from dance, and he literally stood in front of the door waiting to see how long before I'd look up. And then he's like, that nobody's paying attention. I said, listen, I was just responding to an email. I was actually paying attention to where it was going. And then went into this whole long conversation about how
Oh,
we've lost
no.
the art of making eye contact and small talk and da, 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 da. Also one of the like an older guy as well. And I just thought, yeah, it should probably be better.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't trip up. I did that once. I was on my phone when I was walking with my phone. I don't do this anymore. I was looking at my phone and texting, and then I just tripped, and I went
Oh
splattered on the floor,
no.
bust my lip open,
Ooh,
grazed my knee, and I was like, "I'm never walking with my
yeah,
phone again."
yeah. It's a lesson. I'm listening, Land.
Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
You're listening, listening, listening. Don't do it again. So I was as this season 2, and I want to make it more of a kind of educational tips too. I love hearing people's stories, but is there a tip that you could share to our listeners around if they're in a team of marketers or in a big business or a small business on social media? What would be maybe one tip that you would give people? I
And
know it's a big, but
yeah, what would I tip I give? I'd probably say that it's important to pay attention. I think what people have come to adopt as a strategy is to follow what other people are doing. I think a strategy that is sustainable, an approach to social media that is sustainable, is to really tap into and understand what it is that your audience wants and enjoys and reads, because no two profiles are the same. And I know this because I work with a range of different clients, and what might work for one client doesn't work for the other. So paying attention to analytics, if you're able to use sort of social listening tools to understand what people are talking about in your industry. I know people say don't use AI, but I think AI has been great for understanding what sort of pain points there are for audiences in your specific field in real time. And those sort of techniques really help you to generate social media that's aligned to what people are talking about, will keep people coming back for more to your audience, so that you having a conversation, because that's what social media is. It's about being social, and that you're able to carry through very personalized responses to the kind customer queries and things that are coming through via DMs or your inbox, or your mailing list subscribers. Yeah, we need to be more attentive to what people want and need. The brands that don't do well are the ones that are not tapped into what works for the audiences. I think about companies like Aldi, for instance. They never do anything that's the same as anybody else. They're always coming up with their own quirky,
Mhm.
hilarious responses and campaigns. And so I think it's important to kind of stick to what you know you're good at, where you envision yourself as a business, and how you can bring your audience along with you. And whatever platform that is, make sure that you understand what the features are that will help you to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great. Oh. Um, so a few more questions, but one of them is ending on a personal note to yourself. What advice would you tell your teenage self?
I think, I don't feel as old as I look. This is what I've realized. I
Oh, bless you.
I
You look
do still
gorgeous.
feel like a teenager inside. Like I'm still running around in the fields and doing cartwheels with my kids, and all of these things. So I do feel like a teenager at heart. But I suppose what I would probably say is not to shy away from asking for help when you need it, because I am quite stubborn. I tend to just, stick to what I think is best.
Mhm.
But I've learned along the way that there are so many people who are willing to work with you, encourage you, champion you, um, and make sure that you get to where you want to go. And that means you get there faster. So I think it's a great.
Yeah,
I'll probably give myself that tip.
brilliant. That's great. Thank you. I love hearing people say what they tell themselves. I think I'm going to make an amalgamation of them all, just doing some sound bites. I just love it. I love it. So, the quick fire 5 questions.
No.
I don't
Okay,
know
I'm
if,
gonna try.
yes. All right. All right. I know, because I did one the other day. They were very quick. And I was like, yeah, that's the point. Then sometimes people just like talk about it. Anyway, let's go on with it. So the quick fire 5 questions. Crisps or chocolates?
Crisps,
Beach or forest?
beach,
Book or Kindle?
book.
Reggae or soul?
Ooh, so, yeah,
Yeah, go for
so,
soul. Cool.
yeah,
A patty or sandwich?
a patty. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I don't get the
nice.
obsession with sandwiches. I just, unless it's toasted and cheese. I don't know.
Toast and cheese. Yeah. Brilliant. Is there anything else you'd love to ask or talk about before we go?
No, I think what you're doing is amazing. And I think it's important to keep having these conversations. And your in-person event that you had a few months ago was such an eye-opening experience. I think just having people that look like you, that sound like you, that resonate on the same vibration as you, just helps people to feel. I think unified, but also it gives you the kind of assurance that you need that, yeah, we're doing the right thing. It's
Yeah.
difficult to get that sometimes when you're working on your own, or you're operating in an industry that isn't necessarily majority led by sort of Black owned business owners. So yeah, you're doing the Lord's work, girl.
Oh, bless you, bless you, my child. So Yolanda's talking about the event Creatives Like Us. So I'll put the links in the show notes. So yeah, thank you so much. And tell people where they can find you if they want to
Yes.
connect with you or meet with you online.
So I am on LinkedIn mostly as Yolanda Sissing. It's easy enough to find. I'm on Instagram as pinkleaf_social. And I've got my website, obviously, which is pinkleafsocial.co.uk. Yeah, come and say hi. And if you want to find us as
Brilliant.
Antisocial Socialites, the LinkedIn company page is there as the Antisocial Socialites. So you can take a look at what we're doing there as well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Yolanda. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you for taking time out your day. So just want to give
Yes.
thanks for that. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful.
Brilliant. See you soon.
See
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you for listening today. Really appreciate it. And I'd even appreciate it even more if you left me a review if you like the show. You can find a review spot on Buzzsprout, or you can leave on Apple Review. I think you can even leave some on Spotify. So if you leave a comment, that also counts as a review. So thank you so much if you can do that. That'd be wonderful. I also would like to tell you about the event Creatives Like Us. It's happening on the 16th of October 2025 at Us Too. We still have a few tickets remaining. So if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. It's on the 16th of October, as I said, and it's for Black, brown creatives in business. And again, you don't have to be a creative in the traditional sense to be with us. If you have a business or you're a freelancer or you've got a side hustle, whatever you want to call it, come join us, work on yourself, work on your business, and network with other like-minded people like us. The tickets are in Eventbrite, as I said, and you can search in Eventbrite for Creatives Like Us, and which will pop up. It's under Abbas Marketing, and I'd also leave the links in the show notes. So thanks again for listening, and have a wonderful day, and keep being creatives like us.